Move that junk heap of a car. It's embarrassing the family. My sister Ashley laughed, clinking her champagne glass. Anyway, Monday morning, I'm firing the head of IT. He's old, expensive, and cutting him secures my $50,000 bonus. I just sat there and sipped my water. She thinks I'm the broke failure of a sister. She doesn't know that 3 hours ago, I bought the entire company. I'm not just her sister anymore. I'm her new boss. Before I tell you exactly how I fired her in front of our entire family, drop a comment and let me know. What is the pettiest thing a sibling has ever said to you about your money? I'm reading every single one. The waiter placed the black leather folder on the table like a verdict. $800. I knew the total without looking. I'd been tracking the vintage Cabernet Ashley kept ordering while our parents, Catherine and Michael, hung on her every word. To Ashley, my father toasted, his face flushed with pride. Finally, a director in the family. Someone who understands that success isn't a hobby. He didn't look at me when he said it, but the implication landed right in the center of my chest. I'm Madison, 29 years old, and to them, I'm a cautionary tale. A freelancer, a drifter, someone who works from home in sweatpants and drives a sedan that sounds like a lawnmower. They don't see the woman who built Helios Holdings from a laptop in a studio apartment into a 9-figure empire. They just see the daughter who didn't follow the script. Ashley patted her designer clutch, then frowned with theatrical surprise. Oh no, I must have left my wallet in the limo. She looked at our parents, then turned her gaze on me, her eyes glittering with malice. Madison, you get this, right? It's $800, Ashley, I said quietly. I know, she smiled, a predator showing teeth. But you need the credit score points more than I do. Consider it an investment in your future. Maybe if you build up your rating, you can get a loan for a real car. My mother sighed. Not at Ashley, but at me. Just pay it, Madison. Don't ruin the night. Your sister will pay you back when her bonus hits. I didn't argue. I didn't point out that Ashley had never paid me back for anything in her life. I pulled out my card. The limit was high, though they assumed it was maxed out and handed it to the waiter. Under the table, my other hand was already moving. I unlocked my phone and opened the secure admin app for Helios. I didn't need to hack anything. I owned the servers. I navigated to the organizational chart for our newly acquired subsidiary. There was her name. Ashley Vance, Director of Marketing. Status. Pending. I tapped the 3 dots next to her profile. Flag for Level 5 audit. It was a silent command. It meant every email, every expense report, and every keystroke she made from this moment on would be mirrored directly to my private dashboard. If she wanted to play big shot on my dime, I was going to watch every move she made. The waiter returned with my card. Ashley snatched the receipt to check the total, laughing as she poured herself another glass of wine. She was drunk now, loose and reckless. You know, she said, leaning in, her breath smelling of expensive grapes. I actually did you a favor once, Maddie. Remember that letter you were waiting for? 2 years ago? From that firm in New York? My blood ran cold. I froze. The rejection letter? It wasn't a rejection, she giggled, glancing at our parents for approval. It was an offer. A really good one. Senior analyst. I never got an offer, I said, my voice barely a whisper. Because I shredded it, she said, shrugging like it was nothing. Dad was sick back then. If you moved to New York, who was going to take care of him? I had my internship. I couldn't be burdened with that. So, I got to the mailbox first. Rip, rip, rip. She mimed the tearing motion, laughing. And look, it worked out. You stayed home, played nurse, and I got my career started. We both ended up exactly where we belong. My father didn't scold her. My mother didn't gasp. They just continued eating their steak, accepting her cruelty as necessary collateral for their comfort. I looked at my sister. I looked at the parents who let her cannibalize my future to feed her own. The anger didn't feel hot anymore. It felt absolute. It felt like ice. You're right, Ashley, I said, picking up my water glass. We are exactly where we belong. She thought I was admitting defeat. She didn't know I was just waiting for Monday morning. The next morning, Sunday, I woke up to a notification on my encrypted laptop. It wasn't a text from my parents or an apology from Ashley. It was a red flag from my personal banking dashboard. Alert. Payment past due. Porsche Financial Services. I stared at the screen, coffee in hand. The account was 30 days old. The first payment had been due yesterday. Ashley had received a $50,000 signing bonus 3 weeks ago. But according to the audit logs scrolling on my screen, she hadn't sent a dime to the lender. She'd blown it all on a celebratory trip to Tulum and the designer wardrobe she'd worn to dinner. I sat back and let the memory of the dealership wash over me. It happened 3 weeks ago, right after she got the offer letter. She had called me in a panic, demanding I meet her at the luxury import lot downtown. When I arrived, she was already sitting in a sleek, silver 911, gripping the wheel like she owned it. "They won't approve the lease," she'd snapped, not even saying hello. "My credit is too thin. It's ridiculous. I make $200,000 a year now. I need this car. Madison, I can't roll up to a director role in an Uber." My parents were there, of course. My father kicked the tires, shaking his head. "It's just a formality, Madison. You have that boring, perfect credit score because you never buy anything fun. Just co-sign for your sister. She's good for it. Look at that salary. It's a 3-year commitment, Dad," I'd said, looking at the sticker price. Ashley rolled her eyes, checking her reflection in the rearview mirror. "God, you're so stingy. It's just a signature. I'm the one paying for it. Do you want me to look successful or not? Just sign the paper and go back to your little apartment." They looked at me with that familiar mix of pity and annoyance. To them, I was the obstacle. The buzzkill. The sister who had to be bullied into generosity. I took the pen. I didn't argue. I didn't ask for a promise. I just signed my name on the dotted line. They smirked at each other, sharing a look that said she folded again. They saw a weak sister capitulating to pressure. They didn't understand what they were actually watching. In the world of high finance, silence isn't submission, it's a strategy. It's the long con. When you co-sign a loan, you aren't just guaranteeing the debt. You are securing an interest in the asset. I wasn't giving Ashley a gift. I was buying an insurance policy. By attaching my name to that debt, I attached my legal rights to the vehicle. I looked at the past due alert on my screen in the present day. Most people would panic. Most people would call their sister and scream about credit scores. I didn't. I calmly transferred the monthly payment from my personal account to the lender. I paid it in full. Why? Because of the insecurity clause buried in paragraph 14 of the lease agreement. It states that if the primary borrower's employment status changes, or if they default on a single payment, the co-signer, provided they are current on the debt, has the right to secure the collateral to protect their financial standing. Ashley thought she was driving a trophy. She didn't realize she was driving a repo order waiting to happen. I clicked confirm payment. The red alert turned green. "Enjoy the ride for one more day, Ashley," I whispered to the empty room. "I didn't buy you a car. I bought the keys to your humiliation." Monday morning, 8 a.m. My phone vibrated against the mahogany desk in my home office. It was Ashley. I let it ring twice before answering. I needed to sound groggy, like the struggling freelancer she believed I was, not the chairman who had been up since 4 a.m., reviewing global market trends. "Hello?" I answered, forcing a yawn. "Madison, wake up!" Ashley screamed into the receiver. "I need you on Zoom. Now. This stupid system is impossible." "I have a client call in 10 minutes, I lied. "Cancel it," she snapped. "I'm your sister, and I'm a director. My crisis is more important than your little gig. Send me a link." I didn't argue. I sent the link. A moment later, her face popped onto my screen. She was in her new corner office, my old office, actually looking frantic. Her hair was perfect, but her eyes were wild. "Okay. Look," she said, sharing her screen. "I have to allocate 50% of the Q4 marketing budget by Friday to trigger my signing bonus release. But the previous director left this spreadsheet in hieroglyphics. I can't move the money." I looked at the screen. It wasn't hieroglyphics. It was a standard SAP interface. I knew it because I had approved the software licensing myself 3 years ago. "It looks like you just need to assign vendor contracts," I said, keeping my voice mild. "You need to spend money to secure the budget." "I don't have time to vet vendors," she groaned, throwing her hands up. "I have a brunch meeting with Jason in an hour. Just tell me what to do. You're good at this boring admin stuff." This was the moment. The consultant strategy. I leaned in. Well, when I worked with that startup last year, we used a firm called Vantage Consulting for rapid audits. They're expensive, but they bill immediately. If you retain them for a strategic review, you can hit your utilization target today. "Vantage Consulting," she repeated, typing it into the vendor search bar. "Are they in the system?" "They should be," I said. "They're top tier. They were in the system because I had added them 10 minutes ago." Vantage Consulting didn't have employees or an office. It was a shell entity created by Helios Internal Audit specifically to catch executives who tried to bypass procurement protocols. It was a honeypot. "There they are," she said, relief washing over her face. "Okay. How much?" "Standard retainer is $25,000, I said. "Just create a purchase order for strategic analysis and approve the invoice." She typed in the numbers. She didn't check the vendor's tax ID. She didn't ask for a scope of work. She didn't even Google them. This is the Dunning-Kruger effect in real time. Ashley is so incompetent she doesn't even realize how much she doesn't know. She thinks she's being efficient, a shark delegating tasks to the help. In reality, she's walking blindfolded into a minefield. A smart criminal would have hesitated. A smart criminal would have asked for a kickback or a contract. But Ashley isn't a smart criminal. She's just greedy and lazy. Okay, $25,000, she muttered, hovering the mouse over the approve button. This secures my bonus, right? It utilizes the budget, I confirmed. Which triggers the payout clause. God, you're a lifesaver. Even if you are slow, she laughed, her arrogance returning instantly. Maybe I'll buy you dinner with my bonus. Somewhere cheap, obviously. You wouldn't appreciate the good stuff. She clicked submit. On her screen, a green checkmark appeared. Transaction approved. On my secondary monitor, hidden from her view, a red banner flashed silently across my dashboard. Alert. Flagged transaction. Vendor. Vantage Consulting. Approver. A. Vance. Status. Wire fraud. Done, she cheered, closing her laptop. I'm going to brunch. Thanks, Maddie. Try to get some real work done today. The Zoom call ended. I sat in the silence of my office. She thought she had just secured a windfall. She didn't realize she had just committed a federal crime by authorizing a payment for services she hadn't verified to a vendor that didn't exist. She had crossed the line from bad employee to felon. I picked up my coffee. It was still hot. Enjoy brunch, Ashley, I said. It's going to be the most expensive meal of your life. Tuesday morning. The notification hit my phone with a soft, innocent chime. Wire transfer complete. $25,000 to Vantage Consulting. I stared at the screen. It was done. The money had left the corporate account, traveled through the clearinghouse, and landed in the holding account of the dummy corporation. In the corporate world, intent is hard to prove. Incompetence is a defense. But the moment that money moved across state lines based on a fraudulent invoice she authorized, that is the textbook definition of wire fraud. 18 U.S. Code. Section 1343. Up to 20 years in federal prison. I didn't smile. I didn't cheer. I just felt the cold, heavy weight of the hammer I was about to drop. Ashley wasn't just a bad employee anymore. She was a liability. And liabilities get liquidated. I opened my secure laptop. I didn't need to hack anything. I just pulled the transaction logs from the server I owned. There it was. Stamped in digital ink. Approver. A. Vance. Time. 9:02 a.m. Next to her name was the secondary approval. The co-conspirator. Jason Miller. VP of Operations. Jason was the one who bullied HR into hiring her. He was the one who bypassed the background check because he wanted a fund director who would look the other way on his own expense reports. He thought he was untouchable. I picked up my phone and dialed his direct line. Jason Miller, he answered, sounding bored. Jason, this is Madison Vance. There was a pause. Ashley's sister? Look, I'm in a meeting. Whatever family drama you guys have, keep me out of it. I'm not calling as Ashley's sister, I said, my voice low and flat. I'm calling as the chairman of Helios Holdings. Excuse me? He laughed, a nervous, confused sound. Helios? You're a freelancer, Ashley told me. Ashley is an idiot, Jason. And apparently, so are you. Because 3 minutes ago, you co-signed a $25,000 payment to a shell company that doesn't exist. The line went dead silent. I could hear his breathing hitch. I have the audit trail, I continued. I have your digital signature next to hers. I have the IP logs. This is embezzlement, Jason. And since I own the parent company, I'm the one who decides if we call HR or the FBI. Wait, he stammered. Wait, I didn't know. She said it was a legitimate vendor. I just clicked approve because she needed the budget cleared. Ignorance isn't a defense in federal court, I said. But cooperation is. What do you want? His voice was trembling now. The arrogance had evaporated, replaced by the desperate self-preservation of a middle management coward. I'm calling a board meeting for Friday morning at 9 a.m., I said. You're going to be there. You're going to sit next to Ashley. And when I ask who authorized that payment, you're going to tell the truth. You're going to hand me the logs. And you're going to testify that she initiated the fraud. She's your sister, he whispered. And you're an accessory, I snapped. You have two choices, Jason. You can be the witness, or you can be the defendant. Decide right now. I'll be there, he choked out. I'll do it. Just don't call the feds. Friday, I said. And Jason? If you tip her off, The deal is void. I hung up. I looked at the audit file on my screen. It was perfect. Indisputable. I saved it to a secure drive and closed the laptop. Ashley was currently walking around the office, probably bragging about her bonus, thinking she had won the game. She didn't know the game had ended 5 minutes ago. She was just a ghost walking. I walked to my closet and pushed aside the hoodies and the denim. In the back, inside a garment bag I hadn't touched in years, was my armor. A charcoal, tailored Italian suit. It was time to go to work. Friday morning. 9 a.m. sharp. The boardroom of Helios Holdings smelled like lemon polish and fear. I sat at the head of the long obsidian table. I wasn't wearing my usual oversized hoodie. I was wearing the charcoal Italian suit, the silk blouse, and the watch that cost more than my parents' mortgage. To my right sat the general counsel. To my left, the head of security. And across from me, sweating through his dress shirt, sat Jason. He was staring at his hands, looking like a man waiting for the gallows. The double doors swung open. Ashley breezed in, holding a latte, not a notebook in sight. She was wearing a new designer blazer paid for with the money she'd stolen, and she was smiling. "Sorry I'm late," she announced, not even looking up from her phone. "Traffic was a nightmare, and I had to approve the final." She looked up. She stopped. Her eyes landed on me. She blinked. Once. Twice. A confused smile twitched at the corner of her mouth, like she was trying to process a joke she didn't understand. "Madison?" She laughed. A sharp, incredulous sound. "What are you doing here? Did you deliver lunch? This is the executive boardroom. You can't be in here." She turned to Jason, rolling her eyes. "Jason, why is my sister sitting in the chairman's seat? Did you let her in? This is embarrassing." Jason didn't answer. He didn't even look up. "Sit down, Ashley," I said. My voice wasn't the soft, apologetic tone she was used to. It was the voice that had negotiated billion-dollar mergers. It echoed off the glass walls. Ashley bristled. "Excuse me? You don't tell me what to do. You're a freelancer. You're a nobody. Get out of that chair before I call security. And have you." I tapped the console. The lights dimmed and the screen lit up with a single invoice. Number 9902. Vendor. Vantage Consulting. Amount. $25,000. Status. Paid. Ashley stiffened. "I don't know what that is." "It's the invoice you approved Tuesday," I said. "Vantage Consulting is a shell company. You fell for the trap." She panicked, blaming Madison and begging Jason to defend her. I turned to him. "Go ahead." Jason swallowed. "The IP logs came from your laptop, in your office, at 9:02 a.m. Biometric login. I can't cover for you." I stood. "I'm chairman of Helios Holdings. And you embezzled my money." I slid an envelope to her. "Termination. Effective immediately. For cause." She protested her contract and bonus. "Paragraph 4. I replied. "Clawback provision. Repay it in full." Her face collapsed. "I spent it. With penalties, you owe $60,000. 48 hours. She screamed. I called security. I allowed her 5 minutes to pack under escort and threat of arrest for touching company property. When she left, Jason asked about his immunity. "It keeps you out of prison," I said. "Not employed. You're fired." He ran. From the boardroom, I watched Ashley at her desk through security feeds. She bullied a junior guard, then copied a file labeled VIP Client List Q4 onto a USB. My screen flashed red. Alert. Honey token accessed. The file was bait designed to catch thieves. By stealing it, she'd upgraded her crime to trade secret theft. I alerted the police and headed for the garage. Ashley reached her Porsche and stopped. I stood by the hood beside a tow truck driver. "It's not your car," I said. "I co-signed the lease. Insecurity clause. You missed a payment, I covered it. That makes me primary." I handed over the keys. She lunged as the truck lifted it. "I've got your client list," she hissed. "You mean the tracker?" Sirens echoed. Police cuffed her as she collapsed, sobbing. 3 days later, she was out on bail, my parents' house posted as collateral. She owed $60,000 and couldn't get work. My mother called, accusing me of cruelty. I sent 2 files. Security footage of Ashley humiliating me, and audit logs proving she'd destroyed my New York job offer years ago. "She sabotaged me," I said. "Read it." I blocked them all. At home, I cut up the credit card she'd forced me to use. Then I drove my Porsche, now legally mine, back to Helios. From my office overlooking the city, I finally felt clean. I wasn't invisible. I wasn't the family ATM. I was in control. I didn't do it for revenge. I did it for everyone told to stay quiet and pay the bill. If that's you, stand up. Share this story if you believe in justice.